All right, friends, welcome back to History with Tim React. So what we're doing now is we're going to go into the Sabaton song Sparta. Now, what this song is about is specifically the Battle of Thermopylae. But before we get into that, thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed our content this weekend. Like I said, we're trying to get back in the twine of things. Like I said, I've been sick. I'm trying to make sure we get our content out. So please like, share, and comment. If you're new to the channel or you're a returning friend who enjoys what they watch, please subscribe and join this ever-growing community. Now let's begin. So the Sabaton song Sparta is about the hold of the 300 Spartans at the Battle of Thermopylae. This took place in 480 B.C. in the summer months, July and August. So we're going to be using A.S. Cotter as usual, but he uses clips from random movies, including 300. 300 probably is not the best illustration of what Thermopylae was really like. So there was actually not 300 Spartans alone at Thermopylae. There was 7,000. The Spartans just were in command. And then you had Xerxes and the Persian army, which was somewhere around 300,000, which is very massive for ancient army. Pretty much what this was a holding tactic. Something a lot of people don't realize is the Hawk Gates, or the Thermopylae, is actually north of Athens. The Spartans had moved forward 300 men because their oracle had informed them that it was not the time to go to war yet. But Leonidas, seeing the threat of Xerxes and his navy coming, he decided he was going to help lead the hold against the Persian Empire. So, pretty much, Xerxes was trying to finish what his father, Darius, had started, and Darius was defeated at the Battle of Marathon, which is where we get the term marathon from the scout who ran to Athens. Thank you so much for joining us again. Let's get into it. Okay, so like I said, we're going to be using A.S. Cotter's video. As always, I will leave a link to A.S. Cotter's channel, as well as Sabaton's original channel, where the song and everything are. As I always say, I don't own any of this. I'm just reacting to the music to spread the music and also teach a little history. So like I said, this is mainly about the Battle of Thermopylae. I'm not very big on the ancient era. I'm not very knowledgeable in it. So I did a lot of studying before this one just to understand things a little better. So let's get into it. So let me start by saying this. The Spartans did not fight in their underwear. The Spartans actually were, they wore a hoplite uniform like the rest of Greece. They just were a little more militarized. They show clips of in 300, which is true. It was a rite of passage. You had to do brutal things to become a man, so to speak, in ancient Sparta. But, They wore uniforms just like the rest of the hoplites. It's actually interesting because the helmets in 300 that they wear are very interesting because they don't actually look like what they would have worn. Leonidas' helmet is a hoplite helmet, so that looks like what all of them would have been wearing. And Leonidas' helmet wouldn't have been front to back; it would have been side to side, the mohawk. So that's that I always thought that was kind of strange, but I guess it's because he's the main character, so everyone wants to be looking at him. But let's get back into it. Another interesting fact is the king of Sparta was actually kind of like a consul. Sparta was really more of an oligarchy. It was ruled by a council of elders. The king was kind of just chosen to be a figurehead and commander of the army. He was often picked from the best of the soldiers. Well, he obviously would have a royal line, but he wouldn't be. I believe when Leonidas first took the throne, he actually was a co-king with his brother. Leonidas also was an older man. You know, Gerard Butler in 300s more supposed to be in his late 30s, early 40s. Leonidas was much older by the time of the Battle of Thermopylae. So that was a Spartan tradition. Surrender was not in the language of the Spartans. It was either victory or death. But another interesting fact is the Persians. This is why I'm not a big fan of 300. The Persians, most of them were those men you saw there. You know, they had wicker shields, clothing, and everything. But when you see the immortals, which we will see soon, they look a little different. You know, they got those steel masks and stuff. That's not true. They would have looked just like the rest of the Persian army. They would have just been a little better fighters. Like I said, this was the second invasion of Greece by the Persians. There would not be a third. Oh, and I did want to talk about this too. So actually here, like I said about the helmets, you see Leonidas right here. He's wearing the common hoplite helmet, you know, the face guards, the mohawk from back to front, and then everyone else, it's kind of looking like his helmet just minus the mohawk. They would have all been wearing the same helmets. He actually would be the only one wearing a different one as the king and the commander of this unit. His would have been from ear to ear instead of from back to front. But also the Hot Gates, Thermopylae, the Thermopylae Pass was a very important route into Greece. What Xerxes had did was he built a giant bridge, which there's some debate if he actually did do it or not. But what the tales and the history tells us, he built a giant pontoon bridge from Persia to Greece to cross the straits. I forgot the name of the straits. The Hellenic Straits, I think, is what they are called. So in order to march south into Greece, they needed to pass the Thermopylae Pass. So that's why, even though it was 130 to 200,000 Persians, 7,000 Greeks could hold that off very easily because you have to funnel into that pass in order to get through it. And that's what they did. They just held off from the pass. Obviously, 300 makes it look a little more dramatic. Well, it was, but not like this.
Morning has broken. Today they're fighting in the shade. When arrows looked the sun they fell. Tonight they...
So, cool thing about 300, though, 300 actually uses real Spartan quotes. The Spartans have some pretty awesome quotes. It's true when the Persian general said to a Spartan, our arrows will block out the sun, he responded, well, then we shall have to fight in the shade. Or another famous one was, this is actually my favorite. This is about King Philip of Macedon. That would be actually Alexander the Great's father. He said, if I invade Sparta, I will kill all the men, assault all the women, make your children slaves, burn the land so you can't grow there anymore, just destroy everything of your culture. The Spartans responded with one word: if. So the Spartans are very famous for making these kind of witty, hardcore responses. So a lot of what is said in this movie is true. Even the Queen's dialogue to Leonidas when she says, "Spartan, come back with your shield or upon it." That was a real quote from a Spartan mother to her son.
Dying in hell, a traitor's hand, secret passage to...
So this is the movie I was telling you about that's a little more similar to what really happened. Again, the guy who betrayed the Spartans, he wasn't misshapen hunchback. He was a guy. He was a sheep herder. The Persians offered him a lot of gold. He was like, okay. Showed him exactly where to go. You see behind it, that's what the Persian army would have actually looked like these fellows. And this is what an officer would have looked like. They weren't these monsters or anything.
Know his name, know his shame, we're lost forever. Sparta, then us, then and again, see 300 men. Sparta, Persians, glory and death.
Yeah, the worst thing you could do against a Greek hoplite phalanx formation is charge cavalry. And hoplite formation is literally what gave inspiration to formations like squares and things like that in later history. So not the best tactic to charge cavalry at hoplites.
Spartans will never surrender.
So these are what the immortals would have actually looked like. So the Persian army was really an army of conscripts. It was pretty much like Xerxes said, summon all my kingdoms, we're going to go to war. And that's what they did. They summoned levies and things like that. The immortals were the personal guard. I like to compare them kind of to the Ottoman Janissary Corps. The Janissary were the professional soldiers. That's what these guys were. They were the professional soldiers of the Persian army. Just like of the Greek city-states, the Spartans were the professional soldiers. In 300, actually, there's a great scene where he starts asking the other Greeks what their professions are. Guys like, oh, I'm a potter. Oh, I'm a poet. Oh, I'm a carpenter. And then he turns to his soldiers and say, Spartans, what is your profession? And they let out their cheer saying, we're soldiers. The immortals of the Persian army were probably the best to take on the Spartans. But at the same time, they still were using wicker shields and stuff against the Spartans, who were using, bronze and brass and things like that. I do want to watch this movie. I heard this is a very good movie. I forgot what it's called. It might be just called The Hold of the 300 or something like that. I heard it's a good movie. Yeah, so right here you see behind them, all of them wearing hoplite helmets. You have some archers here that aren't. This is what it would really look like. They have the breastplates, the tunics, and everything. Again, 300 is based on a comic book. I think it's from Alan Moore, actually, the guy who wrote V for Vendetta and Hellboy. But it obviously is going to embellish, especially because of the era it came out in. These big, masculine, tough guys don't need armor. But the reality was they wore armor. It would have been stupid not to. That's an even better shot. You see they're all wearing the same kind of helmet here. Another interesting thing, which I kind of do like about, you seeing the spears go through the guys in 300. It's not clear to say if that did or did not happen. The Spartans did have great strength. Again, you need to think about this. These guys were training their entire lives. If you watch my Zulu series, I often compare the Zulu Empire to the Spartans of Africa. They were a professional army, the Spartans. They trained. Their profession was war. They had helots that were their slaves. They were the ones that like farmed and did all that stuff for the older Spartans who at this time were retired from the military. But the fighting age Spartan, I believe it was 16 to 30, I think is the age, they were training nonstop to be a soldier. So again, you know, these guys, their strength would have been amazing. This is actually one of my biggest criticisms of 300. There is no way in any history that Spartans would have broken formation. The Spartans knew what their formations were. They knew that was their strength. And especially at a place like Thermopylae, they wouldn't have broken formation. Again, it's cool for the movie. Real life would not have happened. Yeah, so like I said, Thermopylae, pretty much what Thermopylae did was it delayed the Persians long enough that the rest of Greece was able to rally and prepare for war. While Thermopylae is going on, the Athens are actually fighting a naval battle against the Persians to keep them at bay. Athens actually would fall to the Persians, but the Greeks would retake it and push Xerxes and the Persian Empire out of Greece once and for all. The next time you're going to see a big confrontation with Persia will be under Alexander the Great, where he exhumes the Persian Empire into his Hellenic Empire. That's why you have places like in Syria and even as far, I think, as Iran, you have cities named Alexandria after Alexander. But that is Sparta. Again, Spartans were fascinating characters of history. They sadly, being a warring military power, would collapse because of their own egos and hubris. But that is the song Spartans. Alright, friends, so that is Sparta from Sabaton. I know this is a little quicker than most of our videos. Ooh, just want to focus. But I know this was a little quicker. Again, I don't know a lot about ancient history. I'm trying to learn slowly. That's what this channel is about. This channel is about coming together. You know, maybe you guys know something, you can tell me. My era is definitely more so Enlightenment to modern. Definitely call me out. I've responded to many people when they've corrected me. I'm happy to be corrected. But thank you so much for joining us. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and comment. If you're new to the channel or you're returning and not yet subscribed, please, please, please subscribe. Helps this community grow. Please make sure you're sharing the video and showing as many friends as possible. And thank you so much. And please visit A.S. Cotter. He makes great content. Thank you again to everyone for joining me. And we will see you in the next one.